Hi everyone, welcome to the second live stream from the Spirit Lounge. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm using a green screen, as you can see from the back here. I'm using OBS Studio. I'm experimenting with it and able to play videos, and this is what I'll be using going forward to present decks, slides, videos, change background sometimes. Yeah, it's really cool. I love it. Been experimenting with these things over the last 2 weeks since the last live stream. So today's live stream is going to be discussing karma and what is karma. But before I do that, I want to cut this live stream off around about 45 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. So I'm going to quickly just play a video that I created some time ago, which was called Wisdom and Global Change. So if you look through my YouTube video channel and BitChute, you will see this listed there when I actually published it some time ago. I should have actually played it last live stream because it was appropriate to the last live stream, and what we were talking about was sovereignty, freedom, liberty and free will. This was an appropriate video for that session, for that live stream, and probably should have played it then. But I want to play it now because what's going on globally, particularly in every single country that around the world, and particularly in the democratic West countries, another lockdown in the UK and so forth, and things that are going on is revealing other things to us as to what's really happening in the world. And this video I think is appropriate to play now and potentially maybe repeat in the future with some other ones that I've created, and you'll see those on my YouTube channel video list archive. But I'll play this now. It's about 17 minutes long, so hopefully you'll find it interesting, but it's appropriate to what we're going to talk about with karma straight afterwards, and also what we discussed on the last live stream. So enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. Wisdom. We feel it's an elusive thing. At times we are told it's the sole privy of spiritual leaders, teachers, priests, rabbis, popes or gurus. There are numerous, countless to mention. We are told sometimes that the only way to attain enlightenment or wisdom is through a church, a temple, a synagogue, a mosque, a remote forest or a hidden cave in a mountain. Wisdom is akin to spiritual expansion. It's reconnection to source through which wisdom is attained. A knowing and an intuition, a truth mixed with intellect, intelligence, mind that creates wisdom. It's the release of the Trinity, of the Spirit and the heart and the mind, a divine Trinity that we have within all of us. It's inner expansion, it's knowing and feeling. It is the gradual and ceaseless unfolding of sight beyond sight. The universe is mathematically precise. The universe is numbers. It's the science of numerology. It's Vedic astrology and Western astrology through the energy and forces of cosmic bodies, right down to microbial life itself. Wisdom is the understanding of these universal laws and how we apply them to our broader physical universal experience. Wisdom is through the encompassing of the absolute integration of the physical and our mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic self. It's the coalescing of all our energetic states of frequency, our spirit, our heart, our mind, to grace itself, to unleash wisdom and knowing, which then transforms our intellect and intelligence and how we use mind. It's how we express ourselves in the enormity of what is above and what is below. Wisdom, however, is not the giving away of freedom, nor is it the notion of greater good, or any imposition of our free will, our liberty, and movement in any way, shape or form, for any reason, as an excuse, as giving birth to a new way of life, through restriction, through imposition, to subjugation. We are challenged at this moment in time to make a choice whether we are willing to accept the removals of these divine liberties and gifts that we have, whether they are willing to accept subjugation, suppression of movement, of thought, of belief, of word, of action, of intent. We're not here to be the same. We're here because we are different. We are here to learn to live in harmony, to live together as one, in harmony and peace and love and unity, and express more light than darkness, and thereby lessen the imposition of duality. The world itself is run to steer us away from these universal laws and also our divine implicit gifts. What we need to realize is that the universe is ours. It's everyone's. It's all life exists within it and needs to share it for abundance, love, beauty and joy. This world is ours for the same reasons. We are all from different places in our spirit. We're all co-joined here, coalescing as one species called the human species. In Shuya, this is a global, universal, divine experiment to see whether we can live as one. Will we? Can we? It's free will and liberty of all of us to determine whether this experiment will be successful or we will allow it to drop into failure. Life is your own. Fear is a choice. Love is an action. Separation will always be imposed because it's not within our heart to deliver separation upon each other. Free will is implicit and is mandatory. Liberty is all-encompassing. Anyone suggesting the imposition of any of these principles and divine universal laws is not doing so from wisdom, but is doing so from mind. Any spiritual practitioner, guru, metaphysical or esoteric teacher that professes any of these impositions or proposes the greater good as a reason to remove your liberty is not doing so from wisdom. Many are not of spiritual integration but merely practicing spiritual, esoteric or metaphysical modalities. We are not here to follow blindly the absurdity of rules and acts of others. We should realize ourselves and not miss the true nature of all that is and all that we are. We must also remember that all that is, source, God, grace, whatever we wish to call the divine unity of the One, is devoid of all ideology. It's devoid of religion. It's devoid of spiritual approaches and modalities in all of its forms. All that is simply truth in its purest and blunt form. There are no exceptions to this rule. There is only one true reality, and it is what it pertains to be, which is just truth. Reality, love, beauty, joy, and free will, an infinite stream of all possibility that allows us to be all that we can be and all that we are. We come here to evolve out of where we are. This is the true reason for existence in itself. We come here to evolve, to see whether we will entrain into the impositions around us, the duality in which we find ourselves, in which we choose to come. It's a brutal duality that presents us with light and dark. And it's a choice for us to determine which direction we go. Will determine whether we realize our purpose, whether we move forward in our multiple cycles of rebirth and incarnational life towards grace and ultimately the release from the cycle of rebirth, which is the evolution to the divinity and the unity of one, which is the reason for existence and the only reason for existence. Everything else is an experience that we create whilst we're here, is an experience but will either move us towards or away from this end. If we truly sit comfortably in silence and in meditation and remove our egoistic, intellectual, self-centric minds, this statement will hold true if we're honest with ourselves. There is purpose to life. There are no coincidences. There are only synchronicities, signs and symbols, events and people and places. There is meaning and direction to existence in all of its forms, animate or inanimate. We are here to emit the unity of the One, whilst in this brutal duality. This is our challenge. But it's through wisdom, developed through the continual opening of sight behind sight, which will see the shift to realize our divine nature or not. This will always be a free will choice, a choice of liberty, a choice where we determine where we wish to be, what we wish to experience, what we wish this human experience to ultimately become. We should be prepared to see the reality of this universal theatre. It is beauty, and it is also duality. It is joy, it is love. It is also sadness, and it is also hate. It is impossible to avoid the duality as it exists. Spiritual expansion will present truth as the movement implies it. It's impossible to avoid. We as humans together in unity are at a crossroads in our lives, in our human experiences. Before us is the next phase of humanity, and it's subject to change. It's changing as we speak, as you listen to this video. It is unpreventable. The direction that is before us, the reset, the change, be that economic, social, spiritual or energetic, is a choice we have before us. It's determined by what we will do next, what we will allow to be done to us next. What we do, intend, allow, remain blind to, knowingly or unknowingly. We will experience in the now and incarnationally from lifetime to lifetime, as we will always experience what we leave behind, what we've allowed, that we have failed to transcend away from, because we are here to change this experience for everyone. And we do that
by changing the experience for others as well as ourselves. This is a divine fact. This is the cycle of rebirth and one of the reasons for it. To move towards Source and the unity of the One is to elevate your frequency to the highest level possible whilst in form. This is not perfection, this is expansion. There's no reason to provide proof of incarnational life or the reason for life, as it is within you already. And each of us will see this in the end, as that is also an unavoidable fact. The sadness of human society is we have intellectualized the divine out of existence. We have replaced this with egocentric intellectual ideology, systems and technology. Wisdom, or albeit the deletion of it, will determine whether or not the persistence of this trajectory will determine our future. We've replaced the divine and given ourselves new gods. The awakening we observe in mind and the never-ending conveyor belt of exposure and narrative across all forms of social media are bringing out into the scene what was in the unseen, shining light onto that which was in the darkness, presenting us with the realities of our human experiences and the hierarchies of control that exist and the agendas that they hold for the rest of humanity, which we are now being shown openly before us. This all has a place in our movement and expansion forward, because to not know is to remain ignorant. To not accept and to dismiss is to be foolish. But the outcome needs to lead to somewhere. The outcome must lead to change, otherwise the activity of awakening and exposure is merely a mental one, because the ultimate end will be unchanged. We need to see, know, open, act, evolve and reconnect. We are not here just to spiritually expand in ourselves silently and not contribute to the world and humanity in some way to move expression forward to greater frequency and to help change and shift the duality towards more light than towards the darkness. To do so, we need to have inner fortitude and power. The power is within us, and the release of it is through the greater path for yourself and others. It is the power to create change from light, and it requires physical action. It requires us to say no more to what persists and ails us in life. The power to stand up and say no more to what causes division, disruption of grace, of love, of light, beauty and joy. It is the inner force to propel transformation in the hierarchies that we have allowed to persist and grow and root in society, across all of our brothers and sisters across the globe, and to which we have given control and our power away to. To recover this power is through the I, the nature of our true existence within. It awaits for us all to reconnect, to say hello, to offer it our embrace. It loves all of us unconditionally. It is a connection. It is source. It is the divine unity of one. There is nothing else. There are also false astral forces and dimensional presence. Those of misplaced force conjure and seek to subjugate humanity into transhumanist states of illusion. They give sacrifice, ritual, worship, ceremony to these illusional gods. These are worshipped by those who have lost their way and those who will find their true path over countless lifetimes. These all exist in our duality. The truth is, in this universe that we exist in, everything is possible because there are infinite. We are in an infinite stream of endless possibility, because there are no limits. When we are all in the divine unity of the One, there are no limits. The limits are in our free will, in the direction we place our energy, where we wish our energy to flow and our attention to go. You are listening to this as your heart, your spirit has presented it to you. Be wise. Make this transformation, this period of change in which we must act, to be what you want it to be. See what you fear, because that is the only way to remove fear. Fear is always there, but it does not need to persist. Duality is a manifestation of us all. We create duality through free will. Remember who you are. Remember what you are. Remember where your spirit originates and never leaves. This experience you chose. Make it the one you wish to return to. Wisdom is mind, intelligence, intellect, intuition, and knowing. The divine is spirit and love. These are all unbreakable forces of light. You are this light.
Put the microphone back on. I had it on mute before. I hope you enjoyed that. I played that video because it was appropriate, and it's going to be appropriate for a long time. It's appropriate to what's going on right now, and it's appropriate to the last live stream, and it's also appropriate to karma, which is what this video was about, what this live stream is about. And we will be touching on these things. It's impossible to just talk about karma once, because it's connected to everything else. The universe is connected, and so is every facet of our lives. It's all connected. You can't talk about timelines without talking about karma. You can't talk about tendencies without talking about karma. You can't talk about global change and events without talking about karma. You can't talk about anything, a duality, without talking about karma, because it's connected to everything, as is free will. Free will governs karma. Karma governs all of those things I've just mentioned. Tendencies, duality, timelines, and so forth. So let's talk about karma in the time that we have, say another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. So, what's karma? Well, the definition of karma for us, and I hope this is visible. Any comments, please let me know if this the screen behind me disappears occasionally, because I'm testing things out, and it's I want to get it right. So let me know if the lighting's not good and it's not clear on your end, and also if that video you couldn't hear it. When I tested it, it kind of was with someone else. They couldn't actually hear the sound too well. So let me know if you can hear that, and you can hear me, because my mic is not on mute. So, okay, karma. Well, I've got some notes here of certain things I want to talk about. Karma, we think, is just very simply, well, if we do good things will come to us, and if we do bad things will come to us. Or karma is, if we have bad karma, then we could come back into the lifetimes as a dog or a cat or a pig, something like that. There are those belief systems too. Well, karma is really fundamentally cause and effect. It means that every time, and karma's created every microsecond of life. It's not just created on major events. It's not just created when we do something that we notice is good or we notice is not so good. It's created in every microsecond of life, in our waking and sleeping hours. It's constant, because we are part of this universe, and we're a constant. We can never go anywhere. We can never be killed. Our infinite spirit can never be destroyed. It's permanent, and it persists for all eternity. And we build karma every microsecond of physical, measurable existence, if you like, through all of eternity. In every moment, every microsecond of material life that we choose to experience. So every action, every word, every thought, every intention that we have builds karma. Now, what is karma? Because it's part of duality. Well, here comes the tea bag. It's going to come up. So I'm going to come some basic concepts, and then we'll go into the principle of karma and some deluded principles of karma out there, in my opinion, by the way. And remember, feel what I say to you through your heart space. The path to wisdom, as the video was suggesting, and the block to wisdom and to spiritual expansion, as is the header on top of my head that you might be able to see just there, which is freedom, adventure, and expansion of mind, body, heart, spirit, and energy. What does that actually mean? Well, what that actually means is freedom is sovereignty, liberty, and free will, plus much more. It's our complete independence of self in every aspect of mind, body, heart, spirit, and energy. And that's what we must maintain at all costs, and that's what the video was trying to put across in a gentle but forceful way, if there is such a thing. Oxymoron there. And the adventure is our life. It's the life we create around us, the one that we choose through every choice that we make. Every choice, every action, word, thought, and intention is karmic. And so every choice we make, whether it's an expression or whether it's a microsecond, every thought, everything that we do in every microsecond of life is karmic. And it builds our external life through choice, which is cause and effect. Karma is cause and effect. We make a choice or attention or an energetic vibration. We create frequency. We either draw something to us or we act and create something in our lives, causing a timeline or a frequency in life which adds to our adventure. Our adventure is the life that we have around us. And it's created through free will, choices which create karmic tides of energetic frequency for us. That's ultimately what it is. And the expansion is really, for me, what life is truly about, as expressed in the video that you just saw, is ultimately to grow and rediscover grace within the self, to the point where material incarnational life no longer is a need for you, and you won't need to choose to come because it's a need to drive out those karmic and those tendencies that we've created individually from the moment of our inception, from light to the expansion out of rebirth through growth and wisdom. And the way to do that is to be open across all of those: freedom, adventure, and expansion across your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit, your energy, is to open mind. And karma is also part of that too. So let's just discuss that. So here goes the tea bags. As you know, we talked about this thing, this being the theatre of all possibility that we enter. This is the universe. This entire thing is the universe. All of its circumference is there. And inside of there are, well, I haven't put them in yet, or are they going to be these balls? I'll have to colour them first. And they'll be signifying galaxies. And you could take this into this, and then you could take this down one more level, and this could be a galaxy. And those balls could be star systems within the galaxy. Then you could take this down and call it a star system, and those balls could be planets and moons in that star system. But let's call it the universe here. We drop into this universe as a spirit of light. We come from the energy and frequency of Source itself, and we drop into this universe as we did from the inception. And we'll discuss that in other videos, why that has why we did this initially, why we and you and I exist at all. We drop into this experience, which is the universe. And we've all heard of the Akashic field, the quantum field. Well, that's part of this universe, and you can call it the sphere, the edge, the skin around it, if you like. It's invisible, it's energy. Some people call that Akashic field the cosmic library. You will hear this a lot too. The Akashic field, the quantum field, the cosmic library of all existence, which records everything we do with every microsecond of life or non, everything that happens within the universes of universes, the omniverse that we enter. That's the Akashic field. So it's a cosmic library of you and I. Everything we've ever been and ever experienced in life through this universal bubble. Now, for the moment of our inception, we were like this. Hope you can see that. When we entered this initially, we were this tea bag. Now, I've wasted a very, very good Yorkshire tea bag for this. I hope you guys appreciate it. I cut it open and took the tea leaves out. This is empty. This has no tea leaves in it. Now, karma is cause and effect. It's everything that we do, every action, every word, every thought, every intention. The moment we entered this, we start to fill this bag with karmic frequency and energy, which I call tendency. And we start filling this bag with what we call positive and negative karma. We can call the negative karma the tea leaves if we like. And what that is we start building behavioral patterns. We start building negative tendencies. We start being attracted to ego, to desire, to hate, to lust, or to love, or to excessive things. Both extremes have, light and dark have excesses and extremes. And they can express themselves. And these are all karmic. These are all choices. These are all things and derivatives from choices, actions, words, thoughts, and intentions that we make. And every time we do that, this is the beauty of this amazing universe that we enter, of infinite possibility and free will. You have free will to be whatever you wish in this. You are challenged. We are all challenged, actually, that when we enter this, are we going to create our lives using from the directed from grace, i.e. our spirit and our heart, or are we going to start moving into mind wholly and completely and starting to choose through free will to emanate actions, words, thoughts, and intentions from lower vibrations, frequencies, and tendencies? And we've done that over countless lifetimes, and we've done that over millennia. From the moment we were born into existence through the thought of Source itself, as a cosmic light and a fractal and a copy of itself. So we go out into this universe so that Source can express itself through us, understand itself through us. And it all feeds into one because we are all in the one. We start filling this with karma, which is tendencies, which is patterns of behavior, negative things that we may have done, lower vibrational tendencies and movements throughout millennia and countless hundreds or thousands of lifetimes that we may have lived. We start filling this, and it starts to become this. Each tea leaf in here is a karmic thing that we have to balance. We create karma, like I said, every microsecond of life and existence. And we add tea leaves into this. Or we take tea leaves out of this bag. This is effectively a metaphor for our Akashic record of each and every one of us that resides in the skin of this multiverse and universe, this ever-expanding possibility that we enter. We create this, we start filling this back. And this is effectively what karma does. People say expansion is to remove all the tea leaves of ignorance, of intellectual arrogance, of hate, of lust, desire, war, everything that drives us apart from each other and moves us away from our hearts and our spirit and understanding what grace is and our true origins of life. We're here to remove all of this and recreate that. Because when we've recreated this in life, in material existence, we have achieved the expansion that we seek whilst in human form or any form, so that we no longer need to come back to this, the universe itself. That is really what the purpose of existence is. And as I said, it's karma. You cannot touch other aspects without talk. When we talk about karma, it touches everything. So we're looking. We came here with this. We create this through karma, tendencies, patterns of behavior that we have. We create this. We are challenged, and we'll keep coming back into life until we've recreated that. Because when we come into existence, into this universe, we came with only love and grace. Everything else that we experience, we created whilst we were filling the tea bag with this, with tea leaves. Duality is not a creation of source, it's a creation of infinite possibility and our own choices. So let's talk about karma a little bit more on top of that. So it goes beyond just simple cause and effect, simply just going around doing good things. Karma is actually something that we need to look at much more universally, because it's a trajectory of life, our lives individually, uniquely. It's not just what we might do here, or give something to a homeless person, or do some charity work over there, or try to do good things. It's everything. We've got to always think about, are we emptying this back? Or are we merely just taking some things out and putting some more things back in? What are we actually doing? With our actions, words, thoughts and intentions. And it goes on to what's happening in the world today. What's happening in the world today is actually also karmic. It's there because we chose to allow it. This is karmic. This is collectively karmic for the human race today. Change is inevitable, technological change is inevitable, societal change is inevitable, financial change is inevitable, all the facets of material human life, anything, any kind of life, material things that we create around us, systems and boundaries. The matrix is really a system. What is a matrix? What's a system? It's a bounded. It's a system has a boundary to it, and within it has certain fixed workflows, patterns within it, where whatever engages within that system has to operate within it, and it can't come out of that boundary. That's the system. That's the matrix we live in. That's the definition of a system. That's been created for us. By who? By those that we've given our power to. We merely interact with this bounded system. And if anyone thinks we don't live in a bounded system, well, try going outside of it. And then you'll find out we do actually live in a bounded system. That's enforced of us. It's our choice to keep it in place or not. That is free. That is also karmic. Over millennia, over all our lifetimes, we've made actions, words, thoughts, and choices and intentions that have allowed the current paradigm to exist. We've given our power away to others to dominate us and now control us, and now put us in mass fear as we are today. And we've also moved into mind, which again is another karmic choice, to move away from mind, to dismiss the existence of grace. to have technology, social media, and things we hold in our hands as our gods. We've allowed those who have negative tendency, remember, karma is a choice. We can choose to be of light, which is heart and spirit, or dark, which is more ego, and then moves to dominate and control and is more mind-based. There's two choices we can make. It's free will. It's also karma. They've chosen to do A, we want B, but we've given all our power away back to A. So therefore, what do we choose? The change is inevitable. We can either have it karmically move towards light, or we can have it karmically move towards further darkness and oppression. So it's a choice. We need to make choices for ourselves, and wise choices. Karma will also be willful blindness, ignorance, or stupidity that we can hold. If we don't wish to see what happens around us, then we karmically allow that to persist, and therefore we will come back and keep experiencing it until we decide to see and we decide to expand beyond. Karma is very, very powerful because it's a derivative, it's an outcome of free will. We create it every microsecond. I have to keep saying this and repeating myself because it's important to understand. Now, let me go to another thing on here with regards to karma. You will find, as you move through the expansive journey, that you'll come across this one particular thing that goes around, that you can pass karma on to others. I want to address this. No, you can't. You can't pass karma on to anybody. Karma is intention. So I'm just going to look at the chat window there. Karma is based out of intention. It's not actually the very act or the outcome that creates karma. It's your intention. It's the intent. The karma is based out of, we observe it through an action, an event from someone else, or something happens in the world that affects us, that we're involved in. But actually that is born out of an intention. Intention you can never give to anyone. Karma is based out of the foundation of intention. What was your intention? The outcome still has some karma to it, but the foundation of karma is all based off it, regardless of outcome. Even that all filters down to the foundation, which is intention. Your intention will either be that of light or that of dark. So you will always hold intention no matter what. So there are those who practice the occult, the dark side of the occult, who believe that if they tell you what they're going to do in some cryptic way or another, whether you see it or whether you don't, whether you act upon it after you've seen it or whether you don't, but even if they just put it out there and keep telling you that and putting more and more ridiculous things in front of you and you keep accepting them, then the karma for all of that is passed off away from them onto those that just simply go along and accept it. That is not true. They hold all the karma for the intention. But we create more karma for ourselves through the compliance and acceptance of that, which we know is wrong, we know is dark, yet we keep doing it. We keep accepting it. We don't speak out. We don't fight for our rights and liberties and freedom and free will and sovereignty. We don't fight for the world that we want for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren and generations to come. That is our karma, but you can't pass karma on to another. It's impossible. It doesn't work like that. The universe is not that. So that's an illusion. If you ever hear that, then dismiss that completely. The problem is that if we keep accepting those things that are intended for us, and even if we know that they're wrong, we do nothing, we create karma for that, and as a result, we fill this tea bag with more tendency, with more karmic heaviness. And this is why we keep coming back. We choose to keep reincarnated into lives. We will experience the things that we leave behind and allow to be created, because we have to empty our tea bag for all the tea leaves that we've put in it. And we have to get back to that. It really is, the universal law is very, very simple, and I'm probably going to do a live stream on universal laws and explain them all. And a lot of this will be repeated, so don't worry if this doesn't make sense today. Just sit on it and reflect upon it. Maybe listen to it a few times. But we will go back onto this because other videos on tendency and timelines will touch on karma. It has to. It'll touch on free will because it has to. It'll touch on energy because it has to. Universal laws because it has to. It's all connected. It's implicitly, mutually inclusive. So I wanted to talk about karma there. Let me just look at my notes and make sure that I haven't missed anything specific. No, that was the main areas of karma that I wanted to discuss, really. So I hope that's explained the fundamentals of karma. We create it all the time. And it's up to us to direct our karma in the right place. And karma is effectively, what are we creating for our future? Our cause and effect. Every action, words, thought and intention will create karma. It'll create a timeline for us that we will walk. And if we collectively ignore things that are around us, collectively, that affect all of us as a human species, that's also karmic, and we will keep experiencing those things until we do something to change them. We do something to change the origins of those things. And we will keep adding tea leaves to our tea bag. And the issue is, the challenge is for us is to start taking those tea leaves out of those tea bags. So that when we pass through every incarnational life that we have, we pass through the veneer of the quantum field around the universe and omniverse, which is pure energy, the cosmic library itself. Your pure spirit passes through your tea bag. And as it enters this field of infinite possibility and experience, you will wear everything that's in this tea bag. Hope that starts making sense, dropping in now. You are not this when we leave here, but you pick this up as a jacket, an energetic jacket of frequency tendency. As you pass through this tea bag, you pick up every single tea leaf in it, and you come back into this space and you experience life again. And you'll keep cycling in and out through this tea bag of tea leaves to one day it'll be clear, and you don't need to cycle in and out of this anymore. And that is a challenge for us all. Change our patterns, change our behaviors, wake up to what's going on around you in your personal, your private, and this universal life that we have, this global human life. Change it. Change it karmically for yourself, change it karmically for those you love and those you're responsible for, and make wise decisions through open awareness, open mind, dropping into the heart and the spirit space. Align those up into Trinity and move your life forward that way. And then the world will change, the universe will change as a result. So I'm glad to be speaking to you again today, and thank you for joining. I do want to cut this off now. It's hitting 51 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed it. This will be up on BitChute and YouTube as normal, and I hope to see you all again on the next live stream. If you guys have any suggestions of what you'd like to discuss, or any questions on this or confusion I may have caused, feel free to send it through to me or add comments to the video or whatever it is. I do get alerted and I'll have a look at those. But up until then, thank you so much for listening, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you. Have a good day.